Hey, Carly. Sorry for the background noise. I'm calling in from Inbound, which is in San Francisco this year, and I just wanted to make sure we got in and did our podcast. But I'm in the hotel lobby, and it's a little noisy. So
Wait, Joe, that is so weird. I am also in my hotel lobby at Inbound.
no
We
way.
we should meet for the first time.
Let's definitely meet up for the first time.
What? What? Oh my gosh, we are doing this podcast together in person. You guys, Joe and I have been working together for 9 years off and on, and we've never met until this week in person. It is crazy. We are sharing this screen. Inbound is great this year. We actually can't wait to share all of our knowledge that we've received over, I was going to say the past few days. We're just about to start day two.
But my brain is exploding. I'm telling you. I'm like, it's been. Yes, I told my wife yesterday was worth coming just for one session that we went to. Game-changing stuff, things that I think can really benefit at least a lot of our solopreneurs, if not all. And we're going to be sharing all this at our next Solopreneur Success Sessions, which if I was not completely jet lagged, I would remember the date and time, but I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes. But yeah, day one was crazy. We've learned so much. We are going to do some podcast episodes as well. We re-released the 2024 Inbound Recap last week. So if you want to listen to that, you can, because all that information is still relevant. We will be sharing our experience. But it's just been so fun to meet up with you as well. You're taller than I thought you would be.
Taller, okay. It sounds, most people say I'm bigger than they thought, but
Taller.
But anyway, it's it's been fantastic to meet you for the first time after 2016. It's like 9 years, but it's just the world we live in now. It's just there are people that you get to know and become very close friends with that you never actually see in person for 9 years.
It's so crazy. I was talking to my husband before you got off the elevator, and I was like, I'm so nervous. Do I stand? Do I sit? What do I do? And he was like, you talk to Joe more than most people. Why are you so nervous? But just like so natural, as we would have guessed. But you guys, we also have not forgotten that we are in the midst of our Solopreneur Success Cycle series in light of our book coming out October 6, 2025, Solopreneur Business for Dummies, which kind of covers the it covers the solopreneur success cycle.
Yeah, in detail.
Yeah. And we last week we re-released kind of the overview. And so we're diving now back into the planning phase, which we had to split into, feels like a gazillion pieces because there's just so much that goes into planning. But today I just want to give a brief overview of marketing strategy, which seems so relevant with Inbound. And also I feel so validated after just day one at Inbound and like the state of marketing for people. I kept listening to sessions in the lens of solopreneurs, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this book speaks to what they're speaking to, because the reason for that, even though we wrote the book before Inbound started and before all these trends that we're learning about are coming out, is because we lead with strategy before tactics. And I think if you always have a sound strategy, you can pivot with technology, you can pivot with AI, because you have a solid understanding of who your audience is, who your brand is, who you are as your voice. We talked about that in a previous episode, just defining your brand and your messaging. And if you can nail down all those pieces, you can pivot with the trends in technology.
Well, absolutely 100% true. But the other aspect of that you mentioned, but I think has been really, really leaned into in this Inbound conference, is that it's people first now. The AI has had the kind of opposite impact that you might have thought, just kind of, pondering the concept. It's like we are not convinced by anything anymore, video, audio, but if it's real people, if we know it's real people, that's what people are craving. And we've been saying for a long time now that it's, for most solopreneurs, it's not about search engine optimization. It's not about, inbound content marketing. It's about building direct connections with people and networking and getting to know people that then come to trust you. And that's just it. That's now true exponentially from what it was maybe 5 years ago.
No, absolutely. And it's funny because we have like I don't want to say methodology. That sounds so like stoic. I don't know. But we do, we were inspired by Jay Kunzo. We've had him on the show. He's one of those people who's always just like cut the fluff, get back to the story, speak to your audience. And so we kind of put together based off of some of his thought process, as well as our own, like essential steps that solopreneurs can take for an effective marketing strategy, which is build trust, create resonance, establish desire, inspire action, and then wash, rinse, repeat. And it's funny because I can say this out loud now. Inbound just developed a marketing loop. And it's funny because looking at our 5 steps, it's basically a loop. It's do that and then repeat, do that and repeat. But again, at the heart of it, it's that human connection. And I think, and that is not, I think many experts think that that's how you connect, you get a hold of your audience now. It's like, no longer is it just an SEO play or analytics or this. Like, we've done that. We've exhausted a lot of traditional playbook steps that we've discussed and that they've been discussing at the conference. And it's time to kind of go back to the beginning and just establish who you are. Once you know who you are, once you know who your audience is and put those steps in place, that's when you can dive into the tactics. Do you want, like, AEO is a new thing that they've been talking about instead of SEO, AEO, the AI engine optimization, which is a tactic. But the thing that I want to make clear for solopreneurs that's different from all the marketing advice out there is that how solopreneurs attract leads is so different from big companies, and they really do need to hone in on that one-on-one connection. So even though AEO is a tactic that they can certainly start implementing, for solopreneurs, it still just goes back to the basics. Tell your family and friends what you do so they can be your lowest hanging fruit. Get involved in local groups. Have one-on-one communication on social media. Don't just post it and forget it. Like, actually interact and build these relationships. Again, nothing has changed for us because of the strategy that we recommend, but it's just really doubling down on that human connection and then figuring out the tactics that will work best for your business based off of that.
It's one of the things that I've been saying about AI is that it's almost taking us back in time. Until the 19th century, the only things that we could rely on for information were basically handwritten by humans. It was a something written down, something that they painted. And then we developed photography, we developed audio recording, and then, of course, video recording. And we documented things, and there was some ability to manipulate, but it was pretty minimal. And we could pretty much trust if you had a film of somebody saying something, you could pretty much say, well, they must have done that. It's out the window. And now we're back to pre-19th century where it's all about trust again, right? It's all about who you trust and who you don't, because you can't trust anything you see anymore. It's getting so good now. So solopreneurs, in a sense, have an advantage now because they've always had to kind of work that way, right? They've never been able to say, well, we're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. It's always been about building one-on-one trust with people that are your customers. And companies are going to have to learn how to do this. These big companies have not been focused here. And as solopreneurs, we have that down. That's what we do. So it's a real opportunity to, gain ground because, you're a number of steps ahead of a lot of these bigger companies that you might be competing with.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's all I have for today. Just a reminder that AI is a tool. It's a tactic. It is not your strategy. So nail that down first. And we're so excited to share everything else that we've been learning this week.
I'll say one more thing about AI, because it's obviously all that's being talked about. Not all, but a lot of what's being talked about here. And that is, think about AI like a rising tide, right? Let's say you're a copywriter. Now, all of a sudden, AI is doing what you do. Well, how do you build on top of that? How do you build your business in a way that taking advantage of that AI is something that you can do? And if you think of it that way, maybe you become a really good prompt engineer for doing copywriting, in which case now you can do much more work than somebody that's just using AI straight out of the box. And so there's ways to take what's happening and changing and seems to be encroaching on your work and take away some of the painful stuff and some of the boring stuff and try to do more of the cool stuff. So just a thought on that.
Love it. Well, listeners, we are in our next episode, we'll be talking about the sales process as part of the Solopreneur Success Cycle. But that's what we have today. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Leave that 5-star review, share this episode with a friend, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and we'll see you next time. And we'll be virtual again. Oh no, not next time. Next time we will be. Woo! Have a good one.